Morning. My name is Justin Morgan. I work as a partner of Wood and Morgan, a law firm that works and supports dentists, doctors, and veterinarians throughout the country. Today, I'm speaking with Michael Smith about 2023 and what we're looking forward to in 2024. Michael, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Michael Smith. Thanks, Justin, for having me on. I'm the regional sales manager at our medical division at Bank of America Practice Solutions. I cover 15 states across the West Coast, and we service 36 different specialties for all medical doctors.
That's great. And so, as we're talking about the year in the past, could you go ahead and talk to us about the types of deals and what kind of activity you saw in 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2023 was a great year for us, honestly. We really started to see uptick in medical doctors interested in private practice at the end of 22. So previously, I've been with Bank of America for 5 or 6 years now. I was working a lot in the dental side, and as of 2023, I transitioned over to the medical side because we had been seeing an uptick in medical doctors interested in private practice ownership, stepping away from corporate, stepping away from hospitals, stepping away from private equity. So yeah, we saw a lot of increase in a lot of specialties. Like I said, we cover 36 different, with some of the major being optometry, ophthalmology, plastic surgeons, dermatologists, orthopedic doctors. And yeah, we saw a lot of activity in startups. Startups was a big thing happening in 2023. A lot of doctors in Texas and California looking to start up. There's not a lot of inventory in practice purchases right now. I feel like a lot of doctors that are hanging on to their practices and trying to see where the economy's at. So I would say some of the challenges that we saw was, the lack of inventory when it came to private practice purchases, as well as real estate. Real estate, with the rising rate environment that we were in, prices seemed to really stay up. So it was kind of hard for some doctors to want to buy real estate when, the prices were high and the interest rates were high. So I'd probably say that was some of the more challenging things that we saw last year.
Cool. So I think one thing that you mentioned, which is really important to me and interesting, is when you see doctors becoming more interested in private practice, what are some of the reasons behind that shift? Because they've got pretty stable jobs, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw probably the biggest uptick was in optometry. Um, a lot of optometrists it's very similar to dentists in a lot of ways, where, private equity is huge. They're buying a lot of practices. Corporate is big. A lot of optometrists are tied to subleases in Walmarts and Targets and LensCrafters. And they really just they're starting to want to kind of take the private practice world back. And, they want to be able to treat their patients the way they want to. And, they're not all about profits first. So I think that's probably some of the biggest reasons, that and like I said, the fact that there's really not a lot of practice sales happening right now. So, people are just doctors are starting to just kind of branch out and wanting to start their own.
Great. Can you share with me the kind of the deal size? What kind of costs to start a medical practice?
Yeah, I'd say in general, when it comes to starting a practice, you're seeing, total projects in the range of anywhere between 300,000 all the way up to 500,000 is probably the biggest spectrum. Typical, square footage when it comes to starting a space is usually around 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. Depending on where you're at, if you're in California, some of the rent can be very expensive versus, something in the Midwest. So the rent range varies a lot. But yeah, we probably seen that's kind of like, where a lot of doctors want to start. They don't want to start too big. They want to keep the cost down as possible as being a new business, and then kind of expand later. But yeah, around $300,000 to $500,000 is about average size, and about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet.
Cool. So previously, I think you discussed some of the headwinds from last year. What about tailwinds? What would rank?
So yeah, I'd say just in general, the medical space is kind of booming a little bit. We're seeing a lot of activity in a lot of different specialties, with the optometry being the largest. But we're seeing a lot of dermatologists that are branching out to private practice, plastic surgeons. And I think that kind of couples along with some of the technology that's happening. They're starting to add more procedures. They're starting to add more different equipment to be able to offer different procedures. And I think that a lot of doctors are starting to understand the value in owning a private practice and what kind of wealth you can build. Not only every yearly, but long term, you can build a practice to an $800 to $1 million in revenue a year. And when you go to retire, you could sell that practice potentially, and there's your retirement fund right now. So I think a lot of doctors are starting to understand that and starting to be a little bit more financially savvy. And I think we both know that private practice is probably the biggest wealth generator you can have as a doctor. So yeah, I think a lot of doctors are starting to see that more and more.
That's great. Now you've done a ton of deals last year, I'm sure. And I'm sure there was some pretty normal ones, but some awesome ones too. Do you have like a favorite deal or a really big win that you want to share?
Yeah, we had one of our clients. He was he is a plastic surgeon. Back in 2018, we did his startup loan for him, and he's in Colorado. And last year he came back to us and was wanting to expand into a second location and buy real estate. He's doing extremely well with revenues over $4 million in just 5 years, which is insane. But yeah, we were really happy because we like to see we want to be there to be your very first practice, but we also want to be there to expand with you and grow with you and do more than just the one location. So it was really cool to see him start with his first practice and grow to the size that he's at now and wanting to do a second location and then buy the building. So it was really fun.
That's great. That's really great. And then what are your expectations for 2024?
So 2024, we are basically wanting to continue to expand and grow with just everything when it comes to the medical sector. So we're monitoring the market. We're trying to understand the needs of the doctors. So we're always looking at loan amounts and we're looking at types of products, and we're going to always try to stay as competitive as possible. So that's really what we're looking forward to most is getting the word out that Bank of America is expanding medical. We want to try to help as many medical doctors as possible. So yeah, we are always looking to kind of sharpen our knife in a sense and just kind of stay up to date with the market and try to give as much funding as possible.
That's great, man. I think that was super helpful, and I appreciate your time. I'll let you go. Any closing words? Any thoughts?
No, absolutely. I appreciate the time. If any doctor is in need of financing, then Justin is an amazing attorney. He'll be able to give you great resources, and I hope that we can help in some way as well.
Cool. Thanks so much, Michael.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.